Hello, welcome to the Roundtable. We can keep up with current affairs and latest global issues with our experts' analysis. Here are today's guests who will offer us insightful views. We are first joined by Professor 최현진. Welcome to the Roundtable.
Thank you for having me.
We are also joined by Professor 최수진. Welcome back.
Glad to be back.
Many people in Korea say these days that they are afraid of going grocery shopping because of high product prices. In particular, fruits are really expensive. For example, the price of apples has skyrocketed, which is called appleflation, a newly coined word combining apple and inflation. So, Professor Che, are you feeling it, the high price of fruits these days?
Yes, I do realize how expensive the apples and pears are, so I try to buy relatively cheaper fruits like bananas. And I think this is not just my perception either. According to the Statistics Korea, the price of pears has gone up by 102.9% compared to the same month last year. And also the apples have increased by 80.8%, watermelons by 49.6%, and cabbage by 48.8%. And also the statistics from Numbeo, the global database of the cost of living, shows that the Korea's apple price is the highest among 95 countries surveyed. So all of the statistics are showing that how severe the food inflation is in South Korea currently.
It sounds like it's no exaggeration to call apples golden apples, like in golden apples in Greek mythology.
Right.
So there is a gloomy forecast that consumption of fruits will be a new standard of wealth. In other words, you will be considered well off if you can buy and consume fruits anytime you want. This does not sound like an exaggeration. Professor 최현진, is this just a Korean phenomenon or this is a global challenge? And what are the underlying factors that drive the high prices of basic fruits these days?
This is not a local phenomenon. I think it is a global one. There is an organization called the World Banana Forum. And then they say that the climate change is a big problem for the banana industry. And the trouble comes from pests and disease that grows as it gets warmer. And these conditions help a fungus grow that destroys banana roots. Since banana are very alike genetically and ships worldwide, and they easily catch disease. And the reports also say that the fungus is spreading across the continent, from Asia to Africa and South America. And global warming could make this situation worse and pushing up banana prices everywhere. For example, the price of a banana, even in South Korea, is gradually increasing each year. And there's another example. There's a fruit called durian. This is mostly grown in Vietnam. And the price of a durian has jumped by 15% last year. And it was the record high prices in Vietnam. And this increase is also related to climate change. So last year's weird weather and also drought has cut down how many durians are available in market. The price of a durian is likely to keep going up in the near future. So these two examples show that the rising food price is not just local. Growing fruit price is on the rise globally, and mostly because of climate change.
You know, when we are going through a 3-year period of the COVID-19 pandemics, we realize how densely interconnected the entire world is, right? Now, fruits are the same phenomenon these days, right? As fruit prices have escalated, there were calls for importing those expensive fruits like apples. Last month, Bank of Korea Governor Lee Chang-yong spoke about the apple crisis.
말씀하시는 물가 수준이 높은 것, 특히 농산물이나 이런 물가 수준이 높은 거를 해결하는 게 에버리지 인플레이션 타겟팅이나 통화 재정 정책으로 해결할 문제는 아니고 저희들이 이제 근본적으로 생각해 봐야 될 것 같습니다. 기후 변화나 이런 거에 의해서 변화가 심할 때 생산자를 보호하기 위해서 우리가 지금 같은 정책을 계속해서 할 거냐? 그게 하나의 국민의 선택이라면 그렇게 갈 수 있겠죠. 그게 아니면은 우리가 이런 것을 수입을 통해서 근본적으로 이런 문제를 해결할 거냐. 많은 분들이 유통을
Governor Lee suggests that we should seriously come up with a solution to stabilize fruit prices through more fruit imports. Sujin, I thought about this issue recently, and the interesting phenomenon that I observe is that those fruits in crisis, apples, pears, watermelons, I couldn't find any imported apples or imported pears. These are all Korean products. What accounts for this?
Well, unlike the general crops, those fruits are fundamentally prohibited from importation. It's strictly managed according to the Plant Protection Act, the International Plant Protection Convention, and the WTO's agreement on the application of sanitary and phytosanitary measures. So imports are decided only after going through a thorough risk analysis. So in South Korea, the fruits such as kiwi, lemon, and grapes and grapefruits are allowed to be imported, but not apples, watermelons, which has been an issue.
I see. In fact, Korea does not import apples or pears. But when fruit prices get higher, the government has encouraged the import of other fruits that are permitted to be imported in Korea. For example, as apple prices jumped, the government of Korea increased the imports of bananas, oranges, and mangoes. So, Hyunjin, other countries must be trying also hard to stabilize the fruit prices by increasing the import policies, but certainly there are limits to this policy, right?
Of course, some people argue that we need to import cheaper apples right now. And I think this could lower our apple prices in the short term. However, there is a bigger issue. So how to keep our own apple farming stable? If we depend on foreign apples, and we could be stuck with the high prices with no alternative if things go wrong overseas. For example, while apple production in South Korea fell by over 30% last year, but however, the year before, it was up by 15%. So this means that it is too quick to open up our apple market just because the price jumped for a short time. And also, the quickly importing apples from other countries might bring some harmful pests and disease. This could destroy our ecosystem, and this could cause ongoing damage to all of our fruit farm. And this is precisely why, as Sujin noted, imported agricultural products must go through a step inspection process in Korea before entering our country. So as an apple lover, although I really want to enjoy cheaper apple, but I still think it is more important to protect our domestic consumer and also support our local farmers for the long term.
Yeah, that's very indicative that you emphasize the political needs to protect our local farmers, because if we want to solve the problem in the short term by just opening the gates for importation of fruits, then the prices may go down, but it will, demolish our local, farmers.
Yeah.
So when things get better, there will be no local farmers to produce fruits, right? The main reason for this is climate change that has become more and more unpredictable and extreme. In mid-April, Dubai, a city in desert, received heavy rainfall. The amount of rain that fell in half a day was equivalent to annual amount of rain in the previous year. Besides, Southeast Asian nations were hit by exceptional heat waves. Professor Choi-Sujin, it seems like this is not just a short-term or localized crisis, but it may be a long-term crisis that we need to deal with, right?
Yeah, right. The extreme weather is across the globe, and it declines the food production and also increases the food prices. And for instance, the Robusta coffee, which is widely used for making the instant coffee, its price has been increased a lot because of the droughts in the Southeast Asia, like Vietnam and Indonesia. And it's not just coffee. We have to think about the olive oils as well. The prices of olive oils has been increased a lot, and I think it's more than doubled because of the drought in Spain. And in Spain, you know what? The supermarket there are trying to locking up their olive oils because of the thefts.
In Spain?
Yeah, and I think we have discussed this issue like several weeks ago in the Roundtable. the price of cocoa.
I remember that.
You remember
Rising
that?
price of chocolate, right?
Right. So the price of cocoa is surging a lot because of the severe drought in Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. Indeed, we are living in the era where all these climate changes are directly driving up the inflation. Yeah.
If inflationary pressure continues to mount amid climate change, it will inevitably lead to a reduction in real income. So, Hyunjin, it will discourage consumption and corporate investment, right? Because the consumer will not deal with a high price, but at the same time, the business will be unwilling to invest and hire. Consequently, it will ignite a long-term economic slump.
Yes, it is true. So I'd like to introduce one important research result by the Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research, located in Germany. And they published a research paper in the famous journal Nature. And this research shows that due to climate change, the food prices might go up by as much as 3.2% every year for the next 10 years. This steady rise in food price could lead to a drop in how much money people really have. And there's more surprising result. And in 25 years, the climate change could cut global income by almost 1/5. And climate change could cause yearly global damages of $38 trillion, according to this research. And this amount is about 19% of the world total income. So for South Korea, this research notes that we will lose about 14% drop in income in 25 years. And they say that the South Korea will face a greater damage than Japan or the United States. So I really hope this prediction is wrong. This research shows that this climate change has a direct impact on our daily lives.
But the global and regional effort to curb the effect of the climate change has not been so successful. So considering that the climate change will remain as a persistent long-term challenge to all of us, then our solution must be also long-term, right? Not as opposed to short-term. So is there any fundamental solution to the situation?
I don't think it's really fundamental, but however, there are several strategies we can use. So usually when we deal with the climate change, we tend to focus on mitigation. The mitigation means then cutting down or soaking up greenhouse gases. But I think now it's important to adapt ourselves to the changing reality of climate change. And this climate change adaptation means that taking steps to reduce the harm from climate change or even turning it into something good. So I will give you some examples of these climate change adaptation strategies that is related to food security. The first one is that we could create new types of crops that can overcome tough weather situation, such as severe droughts or water shortage or salty soil. And the second way is to develop ways to keep fresh food longer. So every year, the world wastes about 2.5 billion tons of food. So if we can improve better food preservation technology, we could somehow handle this food shortage problem in the future. And the final way is, before saying this, I'd like to ask one question. Have you eaten insects before?
Insects?
Insects.
No, why would I? Right?
The World Food and Agriculture Organization, they strongly recommend to use edible insects as a future food. It's an environment-friendly food source that does not really destroy our environment. Maybe we can develop more ways to use edible insects as our food in the future.
Okay, I'll seriously consider the recommendation so that I can make my own share of contributions to tackling the global issues with the climate change by eating more insects. Food security is no longer an abstract concept that is a concern for scientists, but now it is a part of everyone's daily life. Let's move on to the second issue. About a year ago, I adopted a pet dog, a Shetland sheepdog, and since then I watch this news with a special interest. We prepare a story about a cute patrol squad. Take a look at the video clip first.
Hodo scurries around the neighborhood. Oiji found unauthorized disposal of waste. Duty stops in front of an unconscious person. Wearing reflective safety vests, what are they doing? They are members of a dog patrol team. In appearance, they are just cute pets. But a closer look shows that they are smart, reliable patrollers that help keep their neighborhoods safe. The patrol team consists of local residents patrolling their neighborhoods with their pet dogs to identify and report potential hazards to authorities. Launched in Seoul in 2022, Dog Patrol Program is now operated in 22 districts in Seoul and 9 districts in Busan. In order to join the squad, pet dogs have to undergo a screening test. A skills test is held to see if the dogs can understand and perform what they are told, such as wait and come here. It is also to check if they calmly respond to external stimuli like the sounds of whistles and car horns. After passing the test, Star has been serving as a member of the patrol squad since 2023. She patrols the neighborhood for 2 hours every day to report and rescue drunk or unconscious people. Star and Singni, another patrol member, start the day's duty to keep their neighborhood safe. While on patrol, the brave puppies keep a sharp eye on every corner of the neighborhood. Star takes a closer look at situations looking suspicious and strange.
순찰대 활동을 하면서 위험 요소나 민원 바로바로 즉시 신고할 수 있는 이 시스템이 되어 있습니다.
최근에 순찰 활동 중에도 여기 있는 보안등이 이상이 있어서 인원을 접수해서 지금 다시 정상적으로 가동되고 있는 상태입니다.
Participants feel fulfilled as they can enhance public values while taking a walk, which is just one of everyday personal activities. The Pet Patrol Squad is popular among residents. As they go on patrol regularly, the puppies have become familiar faces around the neighborhood.
네, 본 적 있어요. 기사에서도 봤고요. 잘못된 현상이라든가 이런 거에 대해서 방지를 하실 수 있는 제도라고, 좋은 제도라고 생각하고 있어요. 처음 보니까 신기하고 귀엽기도 하고 색다롭네요. 나쁜 사람도 웃으면서 애들을 볼 것 같은 느낌이에요.
The Patrol Squad is helping create a mature pet culture with which pet owners and their furry friends reach out to the local community.
출발!
According to a 2023 report on companion animals in Korea, there are 5.52 million households with pets. So, Hyunjin, number of pet owners are on the rise. Are there systematic or cultural reasons behind this?
There are some new system to support these large numbers of pet owners.
Yes.
So we have a new animal protection law, which was put into place last year. And according to this law, if you tether your pet, then the leash now has to be at least 2 meters long.
Okay.
And also it is not allowed to have your pet in dark space for a long time. And also when local authorities find abandoned or abused dog, then they can now keep it away from its owner for at least 5 days. And if owner want to get their pet back from these local authorities, they need to prepare a plan to prevent any further abuse in the future. The law also requires people who abuse their animals to go through a rehabilitation program. And moreover, if an owner can't care for their pet because of a long hospital stay or military service, for example, local authorities can step in to help this animal and people. And also, we have now more tightened rules regarding the use of a leash and also picking up waste and also using muzzles on dangerous animals. And these are all the examples of our new system that help us pet owners and non-pet owners to live together peacefully and much better.
Thank you so much for explaining the basic rules that the South Korean society has adopted. That shows a very mature pet culture in Korea, not just the proliferation of pets at random. It's very fortunate that Korean society has all of these systemic rules. Sujin, pet owners are taking part in other various programs with their pets, I heard, in addition to the Patrol Squad that we watched and other programs. Tell us more about these programs.
Yes, I think pet owners and pets are exerting positive influences in our society on diverse areas. For instance, I would say the pet plugging. So it's, the pet owners are picking up trashes while walking their dogs. So I think the public sentiment on the pet owners or the pets are improving these days. And additionally, there are some pets who are even carrying the seeds on their neck and spreading the seeds on the site, which was devastated because of the wildfire. And also there are pet owners who are helping the abandoned dogs and they make donations under their pet's name to the Good Pet program, which was created by the Community Chest of Korea, the social welfare fundraising organization. So all these efforts show that the pet owners and the pets are doing their part as the member of our society. Yeah, so you should be proud of yourself.
And part of the culture. Pet culture is a welcome addition to our communities, but there is still a serious problem for the pet industry. It is abandoned animals. Stray animals has become a serious social issue worldwide. So homeless animals, of course, are very serious problems. So how does Korean society respond to this problem?
Yes, we are introducing some new culture and rules for these abandoned animals. So as people start to see their animals as a family member, the way we care for these homeless animals is also improving. And this trend is especially noticeable among people in their 20s and 30s. Now, for example, about 23% of this age group have adopted abandoned dog or cat from a shelter or from direct rescue. This shows that more young adults are choosing to adopt homeless animals nowadays. And also local authorities and the animal protection groups are stepping up their efforts to protect and rescue these abandoned animals. So for example, the city of Yongin runs an animal shelter, and they provide various programs such as financial support for those who adopt abandoned animals and also contest for adoption stories of homeless pets.
I'm familiar with the slogan that do not buy but adopt, right? To save more stray animals.
Yeah,
right?
it is true.
How about other countries, Sujin? Are there any successful cases that South Korean society can emulate and adopt?
Well, I would like to mention two countries, Germany and the Netherlands. Yeah, both countries are well known for their strict animal protection law. So for instance, in the Netherlands, they have a special department, police department, which is dedicated to animal cruelty and abandonment. And both countries are also having a high pet tax. So in the case of Germany, they have the pet tax in a progressive system. That means if you adopt your second dog, you have to pay 50% additional tax more than when you were adopting your first dog. By having this progressive taxation, I think it helps people to think twice before they adopting the dog and feel more responsibility. And this is the reason why both countries does not have stray dogs. And with the revenues which were raised by these pet taxes, it can be used for the animal welfares. For instance, they can provide some free physical checkups and vaccinations and also support the neutering surgeries.
I see, that's wonderful. Although you, both of you said that you do not have a pet, but are there any suggestions that you would like to make it even better for the companion animals in Korea and in the world?
Well, I think it's important to foster the culture that respect pets, not as the possession, but as the living being. In addition, I think we can think of introducing the progressive taxation system, like the model in Germany. And that would be a possible solution for people, indiscriminately adopting and abandoning their pets. Another solution might be we can provide some training program to the people who want to adopt dogs in advance. Korea Pet Report, which was published by KB Financial Group, shows that it's only 1/3 of people who feel confident that they can take care of their pets. So that means that most of the people does not feel confident, and they kind of face challenges when giving care of their pets. So I think it might be really great if we can provide those training program in advance, so prevent people from adopting and then abandoning their pets. Yeah.
It eventually comes down to a sense of personal responsibility. Once you decide to raise a pet, you have to assume full responsibility as its parent, because for your pet, you are the only universe. This is all for today. We'll be back next week with more up-to-date issues. Professors, thank you so much for sharing your insight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. See you next week.